one. Today was the final Laker game for the Las Vegas Summer League. They played the Sacramento Kings. Both teams were 2-0, and unfortunately the Lakers suffered their first loss in Summer League. But to give them some credit, they really did put up a fight. The third quarter was just a disaster for them. They got outscored 22-11. They were down 11 going into the fourth quarter. They came back and even took the lead at one point, and then towards the end it just kind of went away from them. And to the Lakers' defense a little bit here, we didn't have Jay Huff. I don't know how much that would have changed. I mean, the Lakers just kind of seem to have a bad game in general. But Jay Huff was a guy that was absolutely monstrous for them. He missed the game due to health and safety protocol, but he was a guy that affected shots defensively. There wasn't a lot of three shot in this game until the fourth quarter. There was only like 24 threes between the two teams, and so a lot of the stuff and a lot of the shots were at the rim. A guy like Jay Huff really could have dictated and changed the game through just his shot blocking abilities, his athleticism. He's a guy that can knock down the outside shot. We saw a great display for him. But to the Sacramento Kings credit, Keegan Murray, man, that guy is a monster. He has been so impressive in the Summer League for Sacramento, and they really got a gem in him. Obviously he was drafted at a reasonable position, at a position that most people felt he should be drafted at. So it's not like he was like the 35th pick, and it's like, wow, he came out of nowhere. Like, people expected him to be this good. So it was a huge pickup for them. He looks very impressive, knocking down the outside shot, knocking down threes, driving to the hoop, getting the mid-range. I mean, he's just put on a full display during the Summer League, and it's something to really look out for the future if you're a Sacramento Kings fan. But moving on to Lakers, because this is about the Lakers, I just felt like Keegan Murray was good enough to deserve a little credit. We had Cole Swider, again, displayed an absolute beauty. He even hit a big three to tie it late in the fourth quarter before the game got away from us. And he just continues to impress. He continues to show just his range and abilities. He is definitely more of a finesse player than a Bane, get down low and Bane type player. But he is a guy that has position and reason to be in this league. He's on a two-way contract, and I definitely think he's a guy that could make this team. I think he's a guy that has shown enough to show like he could be your third, fourth guy down on the bench. He could be a guy that can come off the bench and knock down a big three here and there and just get some sparing minutes. I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to play heavy minutes unless he's just great for them. But he's a guy that can play, the 3, the 4. He's got good size at 6'8", got a good wingspan, all of those things. So he's been very impressive to me during this entire Summer League and just this whole process in general. So big credit to him. And then Vito Brown. He, again, displayed some great stuff. He should. He's one of the older guys, one of the more experienced guys on this team. And in the Summer League, he had some big shots, hit some tough shots, was getting to the paint, really showing a lot. He's a guy, again, has size, can guard multiple positions, can play multiple positions. I don't know if they would actually look at him as an actual roster spot, but I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he showed a lot during the Summer League. He showed some impressive moments, some impressive sparks. He was pretty good defensively, all of those things. Hit some great shots, had some good shooting. Like I said, I believe he was the one that originally hit the shot to give us our first lead. So that was good late in the fourth quarter or mid-fourth quarter. So again, really promising guy. And then Bass. Bass got a lot more run this game because we didn't have Jay Huff. And Bass just continues to show, he's a man amongst boys. He's older, he's 27, where Jay Huff is, he's 24. And that's also why I've kind of highlighted him more as opposed to Bass. I wouldn't be surprised if both or either made the team. They both have been very impressive. Bass has been a really quality guy for the Lakers during the Summer League. He's a guy that has been called up before. He's played on multiple teams in the NBA, things like that. Nothing major, but he's a guy that showed, like, I've been in this situation before, that I am NBA ready, that I'm a guy that can go out there and give you some quality minutes. As like a third big, I think he would be fine. I think he'd be great. He's a guy that could be a big call-up. The only reason, like I said, Jay Huff, I think, is a guy that would get more credit and get a bigger nod is simply just because, again, age. He's 3 years younger. He's displayed the outside shooting better. He's been a little more consistent. But Bass just looks, like I said, a man amongst boys. He just looks like a monster in so many ways. And he's a guy that I'm really looking forward to. I'm really looking to see like what develops with him as, the summer goes on into training camp. If they'll give him an opportunity to be called up, especially once, all the Kyrie stuff and, whatever other free agents and things we get. I imagine we're going to get a couple two-way contracts, and just stuff like that. But Scottie Pippen Jr., he continues to display that third option as a point guard or a backup point guard. He reminds me a lot of Tyus Jones from the Memphis Grizzlies. He just seems, they're very similar in play style. They're very similar in size, things like that. I don't think Scottie Pippen Jr. would be a starting caliber point guard in this league. Granted, he's young. He has room to grow. He can grow. He can develop. He is a little turnover prone for me. But if you're the backup, get a little away with a little more than that. But for the most part, he has been really solid. Dished out some nice assists, played some nice defense, hit some big shots. All of those things. He's shown quite the display during this summer league. And, I could see him playing that backup point guard role, if not this year, then maybe, and the coming years, in that Tyus Jones type role. I just watch him play, and it just looks a lot like Tyus Jones to me. It just looks like a guy that could be a solid backup point guard in this league, a guy that can really develop and give some real promise, give some real minutes, things along those lines. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing his growth and development. And then lastly, Max Christie. Now, Max Christie, if we're being honest, had a rough summer league so far. His offensive game is just not there. He's had a hard time scoring the basketball. Defensively, he's been great. His closeouts are fantastic. His shooting stroke, everything looks good. He's got size. He's got everything. He's shown promise as to why the Lakers drafted him. But just his finishing at the rim has been an issue. There was a couple drives this game, even before Sacramento went on their big run and kind of took the game away. He drove to the hoop, got by everybody, elevated over everyone, and just couldn't finish. And he did that a couple times. So he definitely needs to work on his finishing ability at the rim, especially through contact. That'll come with age and with size and as he bulks up and things like that. I do expect him to improve there. His shooting, like I said, his stroke is nice. He just isn't hitting the shots right now. And it just looks at times like he's trying to do too much. And that very likely goes into his youth, inexperience, him, trying to show that he was worthy of being drafted by the Lakers. I'm sure there's a lot of things that go into it. I think if he can just kind of let the game come to him, take a step back, really just kind of control himself better, I really think he has shown enough promise to show why the Lakers drafted him as well as what his potential could be. I just think right now he's just really raw. He's a guy that needs development. There's a lot of guys we got on the Summer League roster that I think are NBA ready now that you could add to the team and really could earn a roster spot. Max Christie, to me, isn't that based on what we've seen. He's a guy that I think needs to grow, needs to develop in our little farming system we have, and then call him up, bring him up, and then let him get some burn. But, it could just be a bad stretch. It's just a handful of games. So, who knows? Maybe he'll kind of get back into the swing of things and he can prove that he's worthy of it. But we'll see. We'll see how it all works out for him. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. What did you think of this game? What did you think of the players? Are you excited for the future? What do you think of the Lakers' loss? The game ended up was a lot closer than the final score. It just kind of got blown out at the end, but it was like the tail end, and that was when the Lakers were just trying to do whatever they could to get the game back. I really did love how they didn't give up. They went down 11. They got back, took the lead. I just think that they failed to execute and do the things that got them the lead back towards the end. But again, goes with youth, goes with inexperience. Keegan Murray hit some big shots, really hit some nice shots down the stretch, stuff like that. And yeah, it's one game. It's something that you imagine will likely change in the future. I'm really looking forward to see how it all shapes up. with this young core. But again, would love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notification. Stay up to date with all things sports. Join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.